The NFL Pro Bowl is a joke at this point. If your argument for a player being great is how many Pro Bowls they made, you're often scoffed at because every year the wrong players get in, they're snubbed. And we're going to be taking a look at those players today, starting with the AFC. Of course, we're going to go position by position. Looking at the quarterbacks, as they got Tua, they got Lamar, they got Patrick Mahomes. I got no problems with the first two, but Patrick Mahomes, hey, he's in a down year. It is what it is. The playmakers aren't great. He's got Kadarius Toney. It's basically he's working with a handicap at this point. I think a better, I know some people maybe make a case for a CJ Stroud, which I think is fair, but if you look at his analytics, they're pretty comparable to Justin Herbert. I mean, yeah, there's some differences here and there, but I don't think Stroud's numbers are, at least this year, good enough to make the Pro Bowl. My case would be Josh Allen. I think he's kind of the obvious omission from here. The dude has 42 total touchdowns on the season. Him just not being here, and I'm a Dolphins fan, so no bias. If anything, Josh Allen, but no, he deserves to be here. He's granted the interceptions, they're up there, but I mean, if you look at his turnover-worthy play rate, it's really no higher than a guy like Patrick. Well, actually, Patrick Mahomes has a higher turnover-worthy play rate. But, I mean, it's on level of Tua's. It's just he's been a little less lucky. So, yeah, there's my case. I think Josh Allen should be here instead of Patrick Mahomes. We're going to go the running backs. You got Raheem Mostert, James Cook, and Derrick Henry. Raheem Mostert, I think, is the obvious inclusion. Dude has 18 rushing touchdowns on the season. I think he has 3 receiving, so 21 total touchdowns. Derrick Henry's a little bit interesting. I mean, it's kind of a down year for running backs in general. I mean, if you look at these 3, they're the only 3 with over 1,000 yards in the AFC. You can make a great case for Travis Etienne to be the next guy in. He's kind of been on a little, as the Jags have been on a slump, he's kind of been in a bit of a slump himself. I mean, if anything, I'd have him get the edge over probably Derrick Henry, but I mean, it's close enough to where I'm I think this is fine. I think this is okay. They got Alec Ingold as the fullback. Cool. I'll take it. Fins up, baby. Fins up. They got 4 wide receivers that make the cut here, being Tyreek Hill, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, and Jamar Chase. Wide receiver is a bit close. I mean, you've had a lot of good performers this year, but I think this is the right 4. You look at Tyreek Hill, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, Jamar Chase. They have the most receiving yards in the AFC. Don't really think Stephon Diggs really just hasn't been productive last couple of weeks. So yeah, these ones are a-okay. Let's take a look at the tight ends, as they got 2 with Travis Kelce and David Njoku, and I think this one is right as well. If we're gonna look at another guy that can compete, like Evan Ingram, but I don't think he has the touchdowns. Yeah, no, this one's good as well. So again, not too many disagreements when it comes to the playmakers, but we're gonna get to this offensive line, and maybe I'm the one with the hot takes here. Maybe I'm not seeing something, but we look at the tackles, and we got Laramie Tunsil, Deion Dawkins, and Terran Armstead. Terran Armstead, has only played 9 games. To me, I don't think he should qualify for the Pro Bowl. I think there's other players that are just playing, well, for one, playing a little bit better and have played more games. For instance, Colton Miller, I think, might be the best tackle in the league. At least he's playing, in my opinion, he's playing that way. He's at least a top 3, top 5. Him getting shafted, he should have been the first one in my opinion. So I was a little shocked to see him not make the cut. I think it's a shame that there's no love for my boy Brahar Ryman out of there for the Colts. I was a big fan of his coming out of the draft, and he's just been stellar. Yeah, I mean, looking here, I would say Laramie Tunsil is probably the only one that really deserves to be on the list. Deion Dawkins is having a good year, but I don't think it's Pro Bowl good enough. But Colton Miller, Bernhard Ryman, I think those guys definitely should have been on there. You can make a great case for Garrett Bowles from the Denver Broncos. He's having a very good year. But let's go ahead and move to the guard position, as they have Quentin Nelson, Joel Bitonio, and Joe Tooney. And listen, Quentin Nelson, I don't think has been playing at an all-pro level for a couple of years now. Like, he's still fine. He's still good. But I don't think he's deserving of this spot. Quentin Miners should have been the first guy up here, in my opinion. He's had a phenomenal year for the Denver Broncos. Another guy on the Denver Broncos line I'm giving a shout out to. Talked about Bulls, and now I'm talking about him. You kind of could be a little hit the mic, but from the Patriots, Michael Onwenu, though he's now more so playing right tackle. Started the year at guard. He's more well known as a guard. I don't know. I feel like I'd include him in one of those spots. But yeah, man, Quentin Miners. Get in the shaft here. Let's see who else we could talk about. Like Tooney, yeah, you can give him the benefit of the doubt. Tooney probably makes the cut there. Robert Hunt, I would love Robert Hunt in here, but again, he's missed too much time. You make a case for Wyatt Teller, Bitonio's teammate. So ultimately, I think I'm kind of fine with Tooney and Bitonio. It's Quentin Nelson I kind of have the big problem with, but let's go ahead. Move to the centers, Tyler Linderbaum and Creed Humphrey. Tyler Linderbaum, 100%. Creed Humphrey, I would say yeah. Yeah, like there's a couple of other guys. I thought Connor Williams was playing good football, but again, much like all the other Dolphins offensive linemen, has been hurt. Actually, he's out for the remainder of the year with the ACL injury. Ryan Kelly deserves a shout out here. He's having a really good year. But ultimately, I agree with those two at center. Let's move to the defensive end, because if you're not familiar with how the Pro Bowl does this, they do defensive ends, and then they do like outside linebackers, but essentially they're all just pass rushers. They really need to just turn this into off-ball linebackers, pass rushers. Like, it really is easy as that, because then a guy like who I imagine didn't make it. I don't know. This is my first time actually looking at the list. Jeremiah Uso-Komora, who, is an outside linebacker for the most part, kind of gets the shaft because he's included with all these pass rushers who have these high sack numbers but aren't doing what he can do in coverage. But let's go ahead and get into this sucker. We got Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson. For the most part, I actually kind of like that. Let's take a look at some of the numbers. But yeah, Max Crosby, man, I think has been playing at a defensive player of the year level for that squad. You can make a case for TJ Watt. You can really do that any year. I think Josh Allen not being included, which again, they'll probably have him as outside linebacker. It's gonna be ridiculous. But yeah, I imagine that's actually where Josh Allen falls. Khalil Mack, you make a great case for. He's playing really good football. So I don't have really too many qualms with that. Those are really, really solid players there. We go to the interior. You got Quentin Williams. You got Chris Jones, two of the best defensive interior players in the AFC. Then Justin Matabuke, who's having a huge sack season. He has 62 pressures as well. I think maybe Ed Oliver deserves a shout out, but for the most part, I think these three are correct. So let's keep moving. Let's see what I'm anxious to see who they all included at outside linebacker. Hey, look at that. It's the guys I literally shouted out for like the pass rusher position. Golly. So we got TJ Watt, we got Khalil Mack, and we got Josh Allen. Sure, but I really feel like you should be showcasing, I don't know, like when you talk about outside linebacker, we should be talking about like a Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, guy who does so much for his team, who I mean, he has, I think, among the most snaps on, like, actually lined up on the outside. This is a guy that they'll kick into the slot. Like, golly, man. I know he's not even going to be included with linebackers. So we only get 2 linebackers, and they're both Baltimore Ravens, Raekwon Smith and Patrick Queen. I think Raekwon Smith, totally deserving. Been one of the best linebackers in the league. In general, like Patrick Queen's, he's been fine. There's probably other guys who are more deserving. Like one that comes to mind is Foye Oluokun from Jacksonville. The dude is just a playmaker and coverage all over the place, all over the field. Love that. You can talk about the Jets linebackers, Quincy Williams, CJ Mosley, who's having a career resurgence. We could even mention like Zaire Franklin actually might be the snub here. Oh, excuse me. Get it over a cold. But yeah, no, I think I don't know. I think I'd still go with or Foye Oluokun over Zaire Franklin just because I think he's just been the bigger playmaker. You just look what he does as a blitzer. So yeah, it's kind of close, but I think all in all, I think there's probably a handful of options better than Patrick Queen. But let's go ahead and move to the cornerback position. We got Patrick Surtain, Sauce Gardner, Jalen Ramsey, Denzel Ward. I love the Jalen Ramsey shout out, but how many games has Ramsey played this year? Yeah, he's played 9. I don't think you get in, man. I don't think you get in if you've only played 9 games out of a 17-game season. I just don't think you do. So let's talk about the other guys who probably should have made it. As I think easy one is probably L'Jarius Sneed, who's been shutting down like everyone's number 1 all year round. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats for L'Jarius Sneed as, yeah, he's allowed a completion rate of 52% while covering the number 1s, 2 interceptions, 10 pass breakups, and allowed no touchdowns. Does have 17 penalties, is up there, but that probably should have been included here. Denzel Ward, honestly, this might be a hot take. Browns fans specifically, let me know. I think MJ Emerson has outplayed Ward this year. I think they're both fantastic. But golly, Emerson hasn't allowed a touchdown, 9 pass breakups, 4 interceptions, completion rate of 47.1%. Like again, like Denzel's been good this year as well, but like Surtain's been solid this year too. So like I don't got really any gripes with I guess Surtain or Sauce, but I would replace these 2 with one being definitely L'Jarius Sneed and then probably the other being MJ Emerson. So let's go ahead and take a look at the safeties because this is one I feel like they get wrong every year. Let's take a look. We got Justin Simmons and Micah Fitzpatrick. I said Micah. Mika. Who's the other one? Please tell me it's Kyle Hamilton. It is Kyle Hamilton. Okay. So this one, I feel like Geno Stone, the other Ravens safety, is a little bit more deserving. Just had a ton of interceptions. Stepped in for Marcus Williams when he got hurt. It was just fantastic. Got to give a shout out to Jabril Peppers. He's having a really good year in New England. We could talk about Javon Holland, but he's again only played in 11 games, which is better than the 9 we've been talking about. But still, it's like, is that enough to make it? A guy who could be who's kind of a late shout out is Ronnie Hickman, man. Having coming in and starting I think is it Grant Delpit that went down with the injury? I'm pretty sure it was Grant Delpit. But who has been playing balls to the wall, balls out. Obviously, I don't think it's enough to get on the Pro Bowl, but I wouldn't say these two. I would probably go with like Geno Stone, and I would put Holland in front of those guys. Let's take a look at the special teams. I won't really have a opinion on this one though. You got Masick, AJ Cole, honestly, super deserving though. Justin Tucker, that actually kind of bums me out that it's not Cam Dicker the kicker. Really like him. I actually really agree with Marvin Mims here. I like that he's been a really good return man for the Broncos and needs to be on the field more as a receiver. Miles Kilbrew has been stunning this year as well. I would agree with that. But let's go ahead and move to the NFC. Before we get into the NFC, what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo. Just in case you did not know, so go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content as always. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, where we have that nice, beautiful football discourse. Quarterbacks, we got Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, and Matthew Stafford. And I am not gonna lie, I actually like those very much. Yeah, I think those are actually the guys. You can make a case for Jalen Hurts, but be fair, his total touchdowns get kind of inflated when he had like 13 of his rushing touchdowns are from the 2-yard line or less. But all in all, I think that's right. So yeah, good job good job here. Let's check out running back. We got CMC. That's kind of a no-brainer. I think Kyron Williams is another no-brainer. And then they have DeAndre Swift. Ooh, Swift. This is the thing. Like, Swift's been good. I get it. He's hit over 1,000 yards this year. I'd be tempted to put in David Montgomery over Swift. I get it. Montgomery he's gonna go over 1,000 yards this week. Swift is over 1,000 yards, but Swift's 5 touchdowns to Montgomery's 12, which people would be like, well, I mean, his touchdowns are coming inside the goal line, and it's like, he's got a few long breaks out there. This ain't Jalen Hurts at the running back position. But I don't know. I don't like. I guess I would say David Montgomery over Swift. I don't know if I would fight it that hard. Kyle Juszczyk at fullback. And then at receiver, we got CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Mike Evans, and Puka Nacua. So no Amon-Ra St. Brown. But I think the question is, who does he edge out here? Because would it be Mike Evans? I don't think so, man. Mike Evans has 13 touchdowns this year. And I mean, he's close enough to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Golly, that's a tough one. I think you can almost make a case that Amon-Ra St. Brown maybe goes in over Puka Nacua. More touchdowns. He'd probably be up there in yards because Amon-Ra St. Brown missed a game earlier this year. But I'm not going to fold him. That's kind of a hard decision. Let's take a look at the tight ends. We got George Kittle, kind of a no-brainer. And then we got Sam Laporta, who I get it, having a big rookie year. This might come as a hot take. Well, maybe it's not that hot. No, I would make a case that TJ Hawkinson maybe deserves to be in here. He's just been a phenomenal receiving weapon for the Vikings, no matter who's playing quarterback. Though Laporta, touchdowns-wise, does edge out Hawkinson. So, again, I typically, when it comes to the playmakers, they're pretty spot on. Where I kind of have these big differences with who gets into the Pro Bowl is kind of along the trenches. So let's go ahead. Let's take a look at who they got. They got Trent Williams, Lane Johnson, Penny Sewell. So Sewell and Williams are no-brainers. Lane Johnson's the question here. So I think you can make a great case for Christian Darrisaw from Minnesota. I think you could also make a really good case that Jordan Mailata, his own teammate, Lane Johnson's own teammate, should edge him out here. Robert Havenstein's had a solid year too for the Rams. Let's keep in mind, that's a Rams offensive line that has gotten so much better over the course of the season. Though you could tell their one weak spot really is that left tackle position. Like Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson's had a good year. I don't want to question that. I think Christian Darrisaw and Robert Havenstein potentially edge him out. Tristan Wirfs definitely could sneak into there as well. But okay, maybe not so wrong there. Let's take a look at the guard position here, as they got Zach Martin, Landon Dickerson, and Chris Lindstrom. Chris Lindstrom, I think, is a must. He is the best guard in football right now. Kevin Dotson not making it, honestly, is kind of a travesty. Not gonna lie, man. Like, Zach Martin's still been solid, but I don't think he's kind of like he's kind of where Quentin Nelson's at, you know? He just hasn't been at that all-pro level the last couple of years. Landon Dickerson was fine, but I would say, dude, Kevin Dotson, you made a case for Samuel Cosmi. Like, who else could we be talking about in here? Oh, gosh, maybe Tyler Smith. I forgot about Tyler Smith from the Cowboys. Zach Martin's teammate. So I think I think they got one right. I think Zach Martin got in there on name value probably. Not to say he's playing bad. He's still playing pretty well, but not at a all-pro level. At center, we got Jason Kelsey and Frank Ragnow. That sounds spot on. That sounds spot on. Yeah, I'm not going to question that one too much. Move to the defense. We got Nick Bosa, Montez Sweat, and Aiden Hutchinson. Again, this is going to be tough because we know some of the outside linebackers are going to be edge rushers. As I imagine, Micah Parsons is going to be included there. Golly, who else? Daniil Hunter's probably going to be over there. But like looking at this, Aiden Hutchinson, yes. Nick Bosa, yes. I know Joshua Sweat's kind of slowed down second half of the year, while Montez Sweat has just kind of ramped it up. So all in all, I think I'm okay with this. Let's move to the interior, as Aaron Donald and Dexter Lawrence were kind of no-brainers. Javon Hargrave. That's a tough one. I think he probably sneaks in there, edges out like a Kenny Clark from Green Bay. But all in all, I think that's fine. Let's take a look at these pass rushers at outside linebacker. Because, yeah, it's Micah Parsons, Daniil Hunter, and Hassan Reddick was probably another name. Probably should have included there, but tease what it is. At linebacker, we got Fred Warner, Bobby Wagner. Fred Warner is absolute. Bobby Wagner, I love Bobby Wagner, but I think you can make a great case for like Demario Davis. Ooh, this guy has had he became like a stud linebacker at the age of like 28. He's just been so good. So good for the Saints. Ernest Jones has really developed into a bit of a star there for the Rams. TJ Edwards deserves a shout out here. Bobby Okereke actually probably should be the guy in here. He's been phenomenal in coverage. He's been really good as a pass rusher. 7.5% missed tackle rate. Like, again, 2 interceptions, 5 pass breakups. I mean, I think it's hard to make a case against Demario Davis. I'm not gonna lie. I really think Davis probably should be the next guy in there. Kind of close. It's close between him and Okereke, but Bobby Wagner still playing really well. Just, again, kind of gets in there on name value rather than, you know, these other guys who have had stellar years. But make no distinction. Like, Bobby Wagner's still playing really good football. Let's take a gander at these corners. We got Deron Bland, Javarius Ward. Underrated no more, man. Dude's having a phenomenal year. Jalen Johnson and Devon Witherspoon. And all in all, I think that's actually right. I think those are correct. Like, Bland, he's had such a magical year with the pick sixes. Ward has been, for the most part, a shutdown corner while guarding the opposing team's number one. He's allowed a completion rate of 53.3% and has only allowed 2 touchdowns while having 5 interceptions, 16 pass breakups. He's been pretty darn fantastic. So, like, I'm not gonna lie, man. I feel like the Pro Bowl's got it right at quite a few spots, but where they got it wrong, I think it's been fairly bad. I don't think this Bobby Wagner one so much, but like, you looked at some of you look at like Josh Allen not getting in. I think that might be the biggest snub. But you look at like the tackle position in the AFC. I think there was a great case to be made there. Jesse Bates is kind of a no-brainer. But who are the other guys? Budda Baker and Julian Love. How does Antoine Winfield doesn't get in? The dude has been a stud this season. Like Budda Baker's fine and all, like, but again, can I get in there on name value? Julian Love? Hasn't he been kind of like no, he's not been the rotation safety there. He's just kind of been playing all about. Yeah, keep in mind, yeah, Jamal Adams has been hurt, so he's probably played his last year in Seattle. And played is a word I use loosely since he's been so banged up during his tenure there. But I don't think neither of those guys, like, over Antoine Winfield's kind of ludicrous. We could talk about like, okay, who outside of Winfield who should have been an obvious inclusion here. Forget Josh Allen being the biggest snub. Antoine freaking Winfield, what the heck? Xavier McKinney, and I think honestly Carolina's Xavier Woods. He's been playing solid football for years now. He's just a really good safety. You got Josh Metlis, who's just been doing everything for the Vikings. I feel like he probably includes an inclusion here, maybe. But take a look. Long snapper, you got DePaula. That's how you say his name. Brian Anger. At punter, Brandon Aubrey's kind of an obvious pick there. He's kind of been the stud kicker this year. I agree with Rashid Shaheed, Jalen Reeves Maben as the special teamer. I mean, there's a couple of other guys that I may consider, but I'm not going to fight on a special teamer. I mean, you could talk about, like, before he went down with the injury, rookie out of New Mexico, Jarek Reed has done really good for Seattle. Ben Skoranek has done pretty solid for the Rams. But again, I'm not gonna fight you on a special teamer. But that's it for the video. Let me know who do you think were some of your biggest snubs. And matter of fact, tomorrow I'm gonna come out with my own awards. That's right. Broshmo's end of season awards. That's going to be great. I'm going to have an all pro team. I'm going to give out MVP, offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, rookie of the year, comeback player of the year, all that good stuff. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do that YouTube thing as always. Until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.